if the A's leave, this
Hey
would be the
everybody, how
third
you
team leaving
doing?
the city, which is
I hope you're
detrimental.
well. I'm just gonna
Not
mute this
only
just for
would
1
we lose
second
tourism, but think of all the revenue you
so
would
I
lose.
can make a few
And
points
if the
here.
A's stay,
But
all the benefits for that.
I
keep hearing about the potential of losing jobs in the
have to
waterfront,
explain
but what
that
about all the employees who actually work at the Coliseum?
the
No one ever
reason
talks about
why
them.
I am late starting this
I really hope that you
is
guys would
simply
send a
that
negotiation with the A's. And it's for Dave Cavill and John
there's a
Fisher.
lot of
Do you
comments
really want your
here.
legacy to
They're
be
very
liars and
long,
scam artists? Or do you want to stand
and
by the saying rooted in
I
Oakland?
didn't want to have
Thank
all
you.
of that because a lot of people don't see that later. I wanted to get to what they were going to say,
Our
okay?
next speaker is Alexander.
And I think this is the
Hutton.
last speaker, but I wanted to come in later and get
You can unmute yourself.
their ideas of the commissioners.
Thank you, and thank you for
comment after
holding
comment
this
after
meeting.
comment.
Appreciate it.
So
I just want to
that's the
say
reason.
to everyone involved, my name is Alexander Hutton. I am an Oakland native, and I've been to plenty of A's games at the Coliseum in my lifetime. And to everyone involved in this, I just want to say, if you go to the Coliseum in even a decently attended A's game, you can feel the passion and the authenticity and the lifeblood of our incredible city flowing through that stadium every single time they play. And it's not replaceable. It can't be quantified, but it's just irreplaceable if we lose this team. I don't want that to happen. And if we can just do whatever it can, whatever the best way it is to go about keeping this team and keeping that passion within our city, that is the right way to go about this. So I hope we can make that happen. And thank you very much.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Zenny Abram. Zenny, you've been unmuted. You can unmute yourself.
Zenny Abraham of Zenny 62 Media. My first job with Oakland was with the Oakland Redevelopment Agency in 1987. And I learned how to do tax increment financing from Ezra Rapport. We've treated the A's terribly simply because we forgot how to do redevelopment by former Mayor Libby Schaaf's admission. Wouldn't even give anybody who knows how to do tax increment financing a chance to present the real numbers. And so it's no surprise the athletics took off because Las Vegas is about process. We used to be, we forgot it. But we don't want to review what we've done or do it again. We want to blame somebody else all the time. And I'm tired of it. So if the athletics leave, I don't blame them for leaving. I've lived this for a generation. We have to change. Okay. We have to stop thinking that everybody owes us something and actually work to get something done. We don't do that except when it matters with respect to the port. And that's it. Other than that, thank you.
Thank you. That concludes our speakers.
Okay. I want to thank all the public speakers who shared your perspective during public comment. I'm always moved by anybody who comes and joins a public meeting and advocates for what you feel so passionately about. And I really appreciate that. I think we're better for it when we are talking about these projects and anything that the port is engaged in. So I want to thank those people who were in the room and the people who joined us on Zoom. And having said that, we are going to convene now in closed session at the hour of 1:46 p.m. Thank you.
So there you are, folks. And I got in there to make my statement, okay?
Okay.
All right. I got in there to make my statement because all they were going to do was collect words from other people. Well, they know what their decisions are going to be. But the simple fact of the matter is that, look, we had our chance. And I'll explain a second, Eric. We had our chance. We blew it. Okay? We straight out blew it. We should have gotten the tax increment financing matter out of the way up front. We didn't. We didn't have any of this done in a timely fashion. We've forgotten how to do process. And then we want to blame somebody else and we screw up. And I'm tired of seeing it. Eric, what this is about is the Port of Oakland is having a series of hearings today regarding the Coliseum's exclusive negotiating agreement, with the Port of Oakland's exclusive negotiating agreement with the Athletics Investment Group regarding Howard Terminal. This is D-Day, okay? That's what this is supposed to be. This is D-Day, all right? And so What they did, however, is they basically had one session, knowing they had all these public speakers, let the speakers just kind of roll out and get the yah-yahs out. And then they're going to go in the closed session and they'll come back. The public hearing is actually later. It's at 6:30 Eastern time, which is 3:30 Pacific, okay? But the simple fact of the matter is I am tired of this, oh, woe is me because we was done wrong because they treated us wrong. And then these nutcase ideas that, well, they're out. They went to Vegas to get more money. Actually, they didn't, because if you have any desire to do any tax increment financial calculation, you'll discover that they actually have to pay more taxes in Las Vegas than they do in Oakland and in California. Why? Because the property tax is 1% versus 3.5%, 6% there. That's what I discovered after initially assuming it was the other way around. No, it is not. And so for those of you saying, well, the A's aren't going to be paying a property tax. No, they're going to pay a possessory interest tax. That's where Jeremy Aguilo got it wrong. That's where he told it wrong to the media. And so the A's are going to have to deal with these Las Vegas operatives who are only in it for their own money. God love them. Less so getting it right. And so, all right. And so he says, Zenny, this seems to Monday morning quarterbacking. Well, it's not Monday morning quarterbacking because, well, okay, I see what you're saying. From that perspective, what I think you're thinking about, like, hey, they're already gone. It should be Monday morning quarterbacking, Eric. But look, Oakland doesn't do Monday morning quarterbacking. Okay, we don't do it. We don't talk about how we can do things better. We spend a lot of time calling out who our enemies are perceived. All right, I've lived this. This has gone on for decades. It's always somebody else's fault. This is Oakland. All right, that's how Oakland is. Oakland does not want to improve to save itself. And it's obvious because the Oakland you and I have known and loved has slowly died to be replaced by something that looks more like East San Francisco. All right. And these folks don't care to change that. All they want to do is have enough money to pay their housing bill, eat, and smoke weed every day. That's it. That is what Oakland has degenerated to. Period. End of story. You want to change my mind? Show me. Show me where Oakland is getting better from a standpoint of crime, economic opportunities, or amenities opportunities. You show me. Show me restaurants that aren't opening, and then all of a sudden they have to close. Show me restaurants that are not getting broken into once, twice, thrice. They're around, but hey, look, for those that are having to not get broken open, they live in fear of being the next target. That's a horrible existence. And yet it's one that we allow because we do not demand a better government. And yet we have a media out there that wants to put it all on billionaire John Fisher and all this stuff as opposed to the truth. Take the red pill. Government has screwed this up. You understand? Government screwed this up. As a guy who went to school to be a great public official, but who was consistently denied his chance by the city of Oakland, and when it was given to him, the right to bring the Super Bowl to Oakland, Jerry Brown had to step in the way, try to push me out of the way, didn't know what he was doing, and then fired me because I accused him in email of essentially being racist, which is illegal to do. So I should have sued him. I didn't have the money to get a lawyer. The city attorney of Oakland should have sued him on my behalf, but what are you going to do? Sue your own mayor? All right? Enough of me. So my point is, I'm sick and tired. He says, let's go Zinni the truth. It is the truth. I live this stuff. None of these, including many of the people at the table there at the commission, haven't lived this stuff. I have lived it. 86, I wanted my dream job working for the city of Oakland. I got it in 87 out of grad school from Cal, greatest public university in the world. Proud to get my city planning degree, all right? I live this stuff. I've lived this stuff. I love my city. I've gone to bat for my city. I tried to bring the Super Bowl for my city. I said that Oakland was the shining city on a hill, America's greatest example of diversity. And I didn't say that today. I said that in 1999, November 3rd, during the Super Bowl Policy Committee meeting of the National Football League. All right. I said it again during our pitch to the NFL owners, fall 2000. And Jerry Brown gave the best speech I've ever given for all the crap that he did to me of any politician I've ever heard in my life before or since, with the exception of Barack Obama's 2 speeches. That's it. Yeah, it's that high. Okay? It's that. All right? So, yeah. So Barry Lee says, the best analogy I can think of is the tub is full and it's draining in Vegas. Las Vegas A's, here we some. So he says, so chances the A's mover, well, the A's are gone. All right. Yeah, there's always something going wrong, but I'll tell you what I've learned. I told a friend of mine this today. There's an old saying: fool me once, like I got it from Star Trek. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I bought the first one with Vegas. Oh, this wasn't, gonna, wasn't gonna happen. We were always trying to find reasons why it was wrong. We were all trying to find what was wrong with what they were doing. We were all trying to figure out what wouldn't work. I figured out that, hey, look, their bond issue was in trouble the minute it got let. And that's exactly what happened. Okay. But my point is, this is like Groundhog's Day. We've been there. All right. But what happened when we lost the Raiders? Did Libby have a debriefing session? No. Did anybody else? No. Did other than me, right? And we were talking about it. What we spent our time doing was, first of all, trying to figure out who to sue because we were pissed. And so ultimately that led to the lawsuit effort that should have been a breach of contract, but instead it wound up being this Byzantine, I knew wouldn't work approach for antitrust, because we lost on that before. I mean, what is the definition of insanity? It's doing the same thing more than once, right? That's what we've been doing in a number of occasions. We did it with the Raiders. We should have partnered with the city of St. Louis, and to this day, why we didn't boggles the mind. There's no logical reason for it, okay? Except that we thought we'd get the name and the colors. But see, here's what happened. Everybody, including rest in peace, Godfather Grizz, got mad at me. And it's the only reason he was mad at me. The only one. Nothing else. But it was no reason to be angry with me. You can disagree with me. I wasn't angry with him. But he badmouthed me, mischaracterized me, all this stuff for nothing. And I love the dude, okay? But I didn't agree then, and I don't agree now, that we're deserving of the name and colors because of the legal complications that go into getting it. You will spend good money after bad, and you're going to come up with zero. And guess what happened? That's exactly what happened. In this case, we spent Ray Bobbitt's money out good after bad. And what happened? We got nothing. We got nothing. Whereas St. Louis got something. We ought to be ashamed of ourselves that we do not talk to other people. We don't partner with other cities. They always think that we've got it, that we know, and we lose all the time. There's a process here, folks. Will you please wake up and figure out what the heck is happening and stop blaming John for it and start blaming your government? Because what if the wheels did come off John's effort there? What good reason would he have for coming back to Oakland, considering that Oakland doesn't have its act together to begin with? They don't know redevelopment. What are they supposed to do, drive the truck for us? This is ridiculous. You hear me? This is absolutely ridiculous. All right? Congratulations, and you deserve it. You deserve it. Thank you. Says, I heard you call in. The media just sits by and blames Fisher in Vegas while the city government does zero to try to keep the A's. Yeah. It's always somebody else's fault. Oh, blame this person. Oh, always somebody else's fault. But see, we don't want to take the red pill. We don't want to take the L. Oh, no. That's just, we can't even do that. Okay? Well, you know what? We got to. We got to take the L and let them go to learn. Because the last time we did that, what we wound up doing? We wound up getting the Raiders back. Because I remember that too. It was a different Oakland. We couldn't believe what happened. We couldn't believe we let them go. We made a mistake. We bird dogged it, monitored it, Al Davis had his house on Martin Boulevard, everything else, okay? Everything. It's different now with Mark because Mark's building his house in Las Vegas. And look, Mark Davis was not treated well as a child in Oakland. That's another story, but it does factor in. So I'm not dreaming that the Raiders will come back. But what I'm talking about this time is that Oakland has the opportunity to build its sports effort anew, and we need to. Why? Because we don't have any businesses that represent meetings, incentives, conventions, entertainment industry. And that is the number one industry in our country today. Who has convention facilities? We don't have them. Who has great hotels? We don't have a lot of them. We're essentially the same as we were 30 years ago. It's like we want to be in that situation, right? We haven't changed at all. It's like the more things change, the more they stay the same. Texas says, you think the A's will go back to Oakland in the future? No. You're going to go there. They're going to go there. They're going to build a Taj Mahal facility, partner with a casino, get all the baseball village ancillary revenue they thought they were going to get, host a World Series. It's going to be Bafo, have access to gambling money that they don't have in California. And say in California, it seems to be forever to get that done too. All right. And they're going to come out worth, we mark my words, the Athletics will be worth $3 billion in the third year of their operation in Las Vegas. You mark my words. You think I'm laughing? You keep laughing. I want to see your face when you see the ticket, okay? Because that's what it's about. And for all of you people saying, oh, John Fisher should sell, why would anybody be stupid enough to sell an asset at its lowest value as opposed to its highest value at the time that he's trying to get it to its highest value by taking it somewhere else to Las Vegas, okay? That doesn't make any sense. The people who are saying that have no idea what they're talking about. It's wishful thinking and it's insanity. Stop the insanity, will ya? I mean, for crying out loud. It says the mayor said that she's $88 million short. Find it. It's your freaking job. Then call a press conference to say you have the money. There's no reason. Can't be $88 million short based on what? Yeah, based on a bad tax increment calculation. That's what it is. She was relying on the wrong people. Okay? I think the same thing. Thank you. John Fisher can't live forever. Nope. Thank you, Zinni, for the powerful insight. Thank you. Thank you. Says, what is the point of those hearings? The voices just go straight to the right. That's why I thought, I'm not going to record all that. I did that before. It's just, it's rah, 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 rah. We get it. Okay? We get it. I chimed in not even thinking I would get on, but I just thought, let me press this button. And so I did. And they said, Zinni, I thought, yep, boom, fine. I'm not going to waste any words on this. I'm sick of this craziness. All right? It says, haha. Yeah. And Cole Bruno, my friend, or once, gets on social media, Twitter, making fun of John and Fisher and doing all this stuff. And, look, John is a government operative. He might be working on behalf of them getting paid. I hope so. Nothing wrong with that. That every media person tries to do that. No lie that that's happening, but it's a lie when they say they don't. Straight up. Okay? Straight up. Las Vegas A's are the future. Yeah, they are. As I said, I'll say it again. Las Vegas is the experimental prototype community of tomorrow. The real Epcot. Why do I say that? Because it allows you to build. It allows you to build designs that might be outrageous, businesses that maybe not be allowed other places. It's incredible that way. I was in love with Las Vegas in 2010. And that was before all this stuff started, when I started covering CES Las Vegas, right? Love CES, technology of the future. Las Vegas is perfect. Has the monorail, everything. All right? Las Vegas means business. No joke. I went to the groundbreaking for the Las Vegas Convention Center expansion. They had the showgirls out. They had the champagne flowing. Everybody was nice. Even people that some of you thought didn't like me, like Tommy White, hugged me when they saw me. They never met me in person. I've got nothing personally against these folks at all. I like them. They like to build things. Who doesn't like that? Well, okay. But my whole point is, they're awesome people. And look, I went to planning school. I went to school to facilitate building in cities. All right. So why the heck would I be for anything that stops something? That's not me. And I don't like a society that is, and that's what Oakland is becoming. Okay. Expansion team in Vegas is better. But hey, so I don't care that you think it's better, but I challenge you to say that it's not better from the perspective of ease. Here's what I mean. It takes time to develop a brand, to get financing, to basically hope that Major League Baseball lays out the red carpet for you and your ownership group. But for an organization of the city organization, Las Vegas and Nevada and Clark County, who wants baseball now, they're not going to wait for an expansion. They're not going to want to go through that process. And Major League Baseball has given the A's a red carpet ride to Las Vegas by saying, you don't have to pay a relocation fee. That's huge, man. All right? That's huge. Okay? So look, take the red pill, as I say in the Matrix. Deal with the reality. An expansion franchise is not better because it doesn't work faster to get it there. All right? You may not like it, but I've lived it. I know I don't like it, but I'm sick of dreaming. Oakland is not going to get its act together. An expansion franchise is not happening, but the athletics moving is. Deal with it. If you want to get mad at somebody, get mad at the government. But stop calling for this. It is nuts. Okay? It is straight out nuts. All right? Okay? Do your research on Little League ball in Vegas. Not sure what your point is, okay, at all. Or what Little League ball has to do with a $3 billion project. So you gotta give me something more. If you want to come in, on camera and discuss it, I'll send you the link. But you got to give me something more than that. So that's right, Zinni. The people are crybabies, and my point is, they're being led by a local media that, well, and I don't blame them. You know why? You know why? I'm part of the media, but I'm only subset. You want to know why? Because they don't have time. These folks are working 2, 3, 4 jobs, trying to make ends meet, working a gig economy, so they don't have time to do this. That's why I'm delighted when those of you who choose to do so send a donation, right? Want to invest, right? That helps a great deal because I have the apparatus to do it and the expertise. Because nobody else that's talking about this has worked for the city of Oakland in the matter of economic development and sports and retention. I have. That book that Andy Dolich and Dave Newhouse are talking about, they didn't interview one person in government. How the heck can you talk about sports leaving Oakland? You can't talk to anybody that worked in government for Oakland. And Andy's been on my show umpteen times. Does that make any sense to you? Of course not. All right? No. Okay? Matt says, I was talking to the guy saying Vegas isn't a baseball city. Oh, thank you, Matt. Sorry about that. Charles says they should move next to Circus and have a fair. I thought that was what was going to happen, but apparently, according to the Nevada Independent, they got an email from Phil Ruffin. He says basically that what they were offering wasn't of value to him. I'm paraphrasing, to go ahead with the project, and he's making good money whenever they have events on that land. Now, personally, I don't think either the Athletics didn't present to him, and I think this is the real problem. What it boils down to is the Athletics didn't give him enough money to be incentivized. That's bad, all right? So you can't run in on the cheap. You can't do that. Mark Davis did that with Sheldon Adelson. He tried to hide the ball from him, almost got his head taken off by Las Vegas politicos. Seriously, all right? You can't do that. Him and Bedane learned a hard lesson, all right? But here's what got them out of that problem. What got them out of that problem was they got the NFL vote. In fact, I still believe that was a kind of an engineered fakery, because they knew if they walked in hand in hand with a gambling guy, that there was a greater chance they were not going to get the vote than if they walked in without him. So they had to do that. They had to make it look like that. But you want to think that Adelson didn't know that? Adelson can give them money. He doesn't have to make it known. You just write a check, okay? Yeah, Oakland had 5 years. And it is Las Vegas time. Yeah, face the facts, all right? Yep. I thought the Rio. Yeah, see, I thought it was going to be Rio too. He says, you think the Major League Baseball vote yes, the is relocating? Well, yeah. The commissioner has set the red carpet. All of them want gambling money. Because here's the other part to consider. With each place that Major League Baseball's revenue expands, revenue sharing with respect to gambling, that makes them that much richer. So do you think that the A's turning down Las Vegas would mean Las Vegas is closed out to baseball? Don't you think that some other franchise might even consider relocating there? There is that possibility. Why? Because it's gambling. So, but what did we do in California's case? We designed legislation that basically gives our sports gambling future control to Indian gaming. All right? Which means if I want to get involved in the gaming process, I got to do it through Indian gaming. Everything else, it's not the right system. All right? As much as I am delighted and proud that it has benefited Indian reservations, to do it that way, singular ethnicity, is wrong. It was wrong-headed design, and we're suffering for it. We're suffering for it. Now, the flip side of it is that the state could say, you know what? We're going to act as a liaison between Indian gaming organizations and those organizations that want to expand and have a better gambling system, like, for example, a sports book at the Coliseum, right? But guess what, folks? There's nobody doing it. All right? There's nobody doing it. That's why I'm getting the impression that a lot of people back my way, all they want to do is smoke weed every day and do basically nothing else. It used to be surfing, right? Now we got 420 day. I'm not kidding you. I am not kidding you. This is how we act. Okay? So, big old yes. He says, you should write a book about the downfall of Oakland government. Yes, a movie. All I cared about was the Raiders and the A's, but it's been fascinating how we ended up here. Yeah, I've got a movie story to tell for my effort trying to bring the Super Bowl here. And you think draft day was good? Ooh, I got a movie in me that's 7 times better than draft day, man. 7 times, okay? It involves all the big owners you ever heard of. The late Lamar Hunt, who brought me a nice little 3x5 when I gave my first presentation. I later told his son Clark that he did. And I always want to cry even now thinking about it. Owner of the Chiefs. Al Davis mistaking me for a reporter and saying, no questions. And I said, Al, it's Zenny Abraham. I'm trying to bring the Super Bowl to Oakland, which, by the way, he'll put $9 million in his pocket. All right. So, I mean, I can wrap that around that's my personal story. And then what I witnessed along the way, because my story matches Oakland's failure. When the Raiders came back, LU hired me. He said, you have jurisdiction from everything from the redevelopment to the Raiders. All right. And so, yeah, I got a movie in me, a big, good old movie. And I'm going to write it. So I'm going to get some help, though. All right. It says, Rays have worst stadium in the A, so they should move to Vegas. Thank you for see? He said, how? I missed that, Matt. Sorry about that. But he says, geez, face the facts, brother. And he says, Zenny, would of this project be a benefited council size? Oh, yes, absolutely. Because, for example, if the city had realized that Howard Terminal Ballpark could handle 200 sports events, right? And be fashioned as a new convention center, then Council Member 5 could set up all kinds of opportunities for Black contractors and contractors of color and local photographers to have a list, businesses that are called on when, for example, let's say you're going to do a concert and you want to have a party in this venue. So if you're going to do a concert, you need music, right? You need music, you need to call on somebody, right? So how about a list of Oakland bands to hire? You want punk rock, you call them. You want rap, you call these folks, right? You want classical, you call them. You want to bring in the Oakland Symphony for some work? There's the Oakland Symphony. That's how you tie in local development to a project like Howard Terminal Ballpark. But we fretted all that away because all Carol could think about was, well, it's for baseball. Well, it's for baseball. You see what I'm getting at? You see what I'm getting at? Okay? Libby, too. When I put the question to her, I said, Ms. Mayor, have the Athletics told you how many events they're planning to have in it, in the ballpark? And she didn't have the answer. And then someone, I think maybe Justin, her PR dude at the time, slipped her a note that said, it's in the event center. She says, so that's what she said, right? And I said, no, Libby. The baseball facility itself can host 200 different kinds of events. Remember when the XFL was at Giant Stadium? All right. You can have what? Squash, cricket, anything you can think of to fit in there. The Oakland Roots, whatever you want to do, can be in a baseball stadium, right there. Okay. So, curious your thoughts on Casey Pratt and Brody's. I don't know Brody because Brody never talks to me. I've never met the man. And so I have no idea what he thinks about things at all. And all I know is this. I know that I have lived longer. I've been involved in economic development. And so undoubtedly what he talks about, I could fill in the blanks. But he doesn't want to talk to me for reasons of his own design that I'm not aware of, and I don't care. All I know is Casey mentions me on Twitter. Casey's been on the show. I talked to him as recently as today. And I believe that Casey, God love him, and my friend Larry Beal, they are trying to play to the fans. And the fans hate John Fisher. So in order to make sure that their viewership is, top notch, what better way to do it than echo what the fans are thinking, right? So then the fans are watching you because they know that you think like them and they don't like John Fisher and you don't like him. And so they're going to say all these bad things. They're going to gin up their mind that, oh, they're bad and all this stuff. And so it becomes this echo chamber. And that's how they make their money. That's media. All right. Okay. All right. So, why couldn't she have seen that? It's a good question. Brody is cool, though. I don't know Brody. I don't know to say anything about Brody. All right. All I know, again, is that you asked me about them. I know that you didn't, but I know that Casey and I talk on a regular basis. And I know that Casey said, hey, look, I'm going to defer to Zenny on finance issues because he's had the experience and he knows this. And I do. And I mean stadium financing and bond financing. All right. I built a model of the then Goldman Sachs proposed swap option for my boss, the Oakland Mayor Elihu Harris, way back in 1997. Mayor Harris voted against it. The council voted for it. And later, we ended up paying something like $12 million that we didn't expect to have to pay on it. I did my job. Okay. I did my job. Okay. So I could talk to you a lot. You think our failures stop at sports in terms of business? They don't. Look at our downtown. Do you realize? All right. Do you realize? Listen to this. Listen to this. Listen to this. It has taken us 38, well, excuse me, more than that. Yeah, 38 years. I would say, let's say 35 years to get a downtown shopping center, and we still don't have one. And given the way retail has changed, we may never have one. We should. You're looking at the guy who brought in Robert A.M. Stern Architects to be the lead architect to bring in Forest City. This is in 1998. all right, to lead to the construction of a 2 million square foot shopping and mixed use development district called Uptown. We're going to park $140 million budget out of redevelopment as our base level of subsidy. And we're going to have a competition for the person who could take that money and use it to develop a model for a multi-developer project, so that Forest City was lead developer, and they bring in, other developer partners to work with, that they will use their own money. Okay, that was the idea. For reasons best known to Elihu to this day, and Elihu is my buddy and my older brother and father at the same time, he didn't want to pay the $100,000 because he was a cheapskate. Okay, he didn't want to pay the $100,000 to have Robert A.M. Stern go to work. Robert A.M. Stern, who I talked to on the phone for a good 35 minutes, I cold called him, all right, because that's what I did on behalf of my city. Talk to me, and you could do that. You're representing the mayor. You can open up doors. You want to talk to the Prime Minister of England, the King of Siam, whatever you want to do. But a lot of people don't do that who work in government. All right, they get these jobs, and they think, particularly in the Oakland context, and they think really, really small when they're working for a big city. I'm sorry. I work for a big city. I bring a big effort. That's the way I roll. So my point is, all right, period, period. Okay? Do you realize we didn't do that? We didn't get it done. He didn't do that. Then we redeveloped the rotunda, but folks spent time trying to make it look like Phil Tagami did something illegal when he didn't. Phil did his second great job for Oakland. His first was Fox Theater is what I should have said. His first was the rotunda. Okay? And Oakland's always found a way to not be great. It's just not just with sports. Oakland has always found a way to not be great. Okay, always. All right. It says, so have the A's completely given up on Oakland or an all-in or Vegas, whether it's a good or bad deal? They've completely given up. All right. Major League Baseball announced that last year. Commissioner Manfred said, I don't want to talk about Oakland anymore. We're focused on Las Vegas. A lot of people didn't take, he's the commissioner of baseball, him seriously. I did. Because I saw what they were doing even before he said that. They were talking with key players there, some of which people of which I know, a couple I know personally, who are good friends, all right? And they're good friends because they saw what I did regarding the first effort. So yeah, the train left the door last year, folks. I'm here to tell you that. He says, I appreciate you, Zinni. Thank you for letting me know the truth. Many blessings to you, brother. God bless you too, sir. Thank you. He says, Orioles built a stadium in a bad area. Yeah. He says, what do you think the A's lease will be on Las Vegas? Just wondering. It will be 3.56% of what the total assessed possessory interest value is calculated to be. So if it comes out to be 1.5 billion, it'll be 3.56% of that. And that will be escalated by 3% annually for a 30-year period, because that money that the A's pay will go right to pay off the bond issue. That's the way that's written. Okay? So it's a 30-year lease. It won't be 40. It'll be 30. They'll stick to that. Why does Oakland continue voting these people in office? A lack of education or what? It's the structure. It's a combination of our strong mayor system and our council and our ranked choice voting. So a strong mayor gets us candidates who believe that they want to have absolute power, and they want to be a Jerry Brown because the system was designed for Jerry Brown. In other words, get your face out there. You don't need to show up to council. You don't need to worry about the minutia. All right, that's what Jerry established almost a generation ago. But it worked for Jerry. What we had prior to that the city manager was truly the powerful person. You needed 5 votes to unseat the city manager. Now the mayor can do it on a whim. And so as a result, we have had a substantially shorter tenure for city managers. We now call them city administrators. What does that mean? Hey, look, if you know that your person is being maybe a little erratic and you don't want to work for them, and hey, maybe they'll be recalled or something like that, you're going to be looking out for your next job and you're going to jump ship in a hurry. All right. Or let's say that you know that your boss is not very popular and it's a key certainty that, let's say, Gene Kwan is going to lose the next election. So you're Fred Blackwell. The first thing you're doing, even though you're the point person regarding the Warriors and everything else, is you're like, out of here. What does that produce? He's a city administrator. It produces one word, instability. And that is what's plagued Oakland. You cannot do big projects in an unstable public organizational environment. All right. I should say, if you're lucky to do them, you're not going to do them well. That's the problem. I'm glad you asked that. Just Simmons says a different A's owner will manage to keep A's in Oakland. No. Why? Because they're different? You don't understand. You have to work with government. And you have to make sure the government acts in a timely fashion. If you don't know how the redevelopment process is done, and you're going to rely on somebody who doesn't know it either by their actions. The current redevelopment law has been in existence since, for Howard Terminal, October 11th, 2019. That's when Gavin signed SB 293 Skinner into law. It called for enhanced infrastructure financing district legislation to be used. Howard Terminal. No public financing authority, no talking with the county, right? And then they waited until Bob Manfred said, hey, he said this on March 27th of 2021, all right? Hey, we're going to Vegas because you guys are going to build me a stadium by 2027, and I don't want to wait that long. Now, ironically, he's going to have to wait that long because of the shifting, okay? But if he had not done that, he would have had to wait longer in the Oakland parlance. Why? Because we didn't get the money going. One thing I learned with Oakland and redevelopment, and I'm glad to get hired to do this. You're listening to me, folks. You hire me as your economic development manager, all right? You get the money identified and secured up front. You do that through your legislative process. You don't talk about it. You don't hire incompetent, consultants. You get it done. You have an in-house person do the calculations. You review it. You run your models. You test them. That's what we used to do, okay? We were process-oriented. We were pre-internet. We were the astronaut age people. What I mean by that? Our generation put somebody on the moon. Your generation hasn't done that yet. My generation did. Just saying, okay? We actually put somebody on the moon. We learned process. The organizational process that builds the mechanical process. You call it tech. We didn't talk it, we did it. And not only that, that thinking was in all aspects of society. The management organizations, the theories, the schools of government like the John F. Kennedy School of Government at Harvard, the Goldman School of Government at UC Berkeley, the Woodrow Wilson School of Government at Harvard. Okay, not at Harvard, but at in Washington, D.C. I apologize, all right? Woodrow Wilson is in Texas. I'm sorry, Texas, University of Texas. I stand corrected. My point is, these educational organizations were designed to teach people how to bring management methods and measures and data collection and analysis techniques into government and local government. That was the idea. I was born during that era. That's what we learned. All right. Today, it's no wonder that you have something that gets passed like SB 293 Skinner. And guess what? There's nobody there to establish the process. And you know what we've done over that period of time? We've left that expertise to nonprofits. But there's no nonprofit for this sort of thing. All right? And the government should always do it in-house to know where its money is going. But today you have people saying, well, you know, we have these billionaires. Let me say something to you. So what? How about you as the government controlling the stadium or the ballpark so that you can make sure that locals get hired? Why? Because you're the government. You own the facility. You let them have the revenue. This is what's happening in the Las Vegas case. Or in the Howard Terminal case, you can establish ground leases, it's your land, or sales edicts that cement in the same kind of responsibilities. You want tax increment financing money? You got to do you want the money? You got to do these things. We had that. How do you think I wound up put in responsible place to find buyer teams for the Athletics? Came this close to getting Magic Johnson and Frank Robinson to buy the A's, and that was in 1997. Thank you, Lon Rosen. Okay, let me get some more of your comments. So is Howard Terminal dead as of tomorrow? I want to see what the Athletics say. I'm not willing to say it's dead because Howard Terminal should be done. Not only can be done, it should be done. And when I say Howard Terminal, I mean as a new town in town with new offices, shops. I believe a convention center is needed. I think Howard Terminal should live on. I really do. We need to, if only because we need to fix the sea level rise problem down there. And I think it should be more adjusted for maritime use. We need to funnel that redevelopment agency money to the maritime business, help them upgrade. Like it's the Pope's water. You know what I mean? Yeah. Let Las Vegas taste the cruelness of this ownership and neglect. Fine. Las Vegas A's will be a whole new breed. Yep. This ownership only knows how to ruin the team. Fine. Okay. But they also know, look, they also know one thing. They know when they're dealing with somebody who doesn't know what they're doing. I give them credit for that. You have to remember something. The ownership group aside, they own the team. And so you have to at least give them, as a city and a government, you have to give them the credibility. You have to give them evidence that you have the credibility, certainty, and capacity to conduct your responsibilities as a government organization. And Oakland did not do that. And that's what you need to understand. You can talk about them all you want to. But why are you not talking about government? Because you don't understand the process? I'm curious to know. Why is it that you don't talk about Oakland's government? I just want to know. But no stadium. Yep. You sure from it? No. All I ever wanted to be was what Stephen Hill is, the president of the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Bureau, or the executive director of the Coliseum. I went to school to be a public official. I didn't go to school to be a politician. I am not a good politician. All right? I am an excellent public official. I went to school to be the answer guy, the fix-it guy in government. The guy who knows how to get the problem solved. That's what I wanted to be. That's my wheelhouse. That's what makes me tick. Okay? Says Zenny, I just can't understand how a city can lose 3 professional teams and think that they can get another sports franchise to come there with the city government structure. They can't. We have to do some serious changing. Well, we really do. Text says, when will shovels hit the dirt in Vegas? When will we know for sure the A's are moving definite yet? Give it another year and a month. I would say that. Hey, yeah, Zenny, you the man. Thanks, man. You the man. You the man. You the man. It is now 5:32 p.m. So we have roughly an hour for the next go around with this stuff. Anybody have any parting thoughts they want to share? Call, or do you want to call in your idea? If you want to call in, I'll put my number, because I'm guessing some people don't want to go on camera. 510-517-7565 right here. Daniel Rivera says, remember, June 5th is the deadline for the Nevada legislature to reduce the deal. Actually, Daniel, that's not true. Okay? Because it's going to go into closed session. And Daniel, I think maybe you're voting Brazil. I don't know. But Daniel, let me tell you something. As I said before you arrived, I'll say it again. This is your first go-round. This is my second. And I said it before, and I'll say it once regarding Las Vegas. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I am not betting against them a second time. Las Vegas is more than developer friendly. This is going to special session. And all this stuff about, it's a deadline. Look at me. Howard Stutz got fired by the Review Journal when Sean Adelson owned it. He doesn't like the Review Journal. He's trying to put out stuff to get your attention. He's got this thing about billionaires. You got to know who you're reading. I don't know Howard Stutz, but I know his history, okay? Jeremy Aguilo says, the A is going to be paying a property tax, or aren't going to be. Not true. But then who did Jeremy work for prior to that? Mark Davis and the Raiders. Now he works for the A's. Don't you think it's kind of weird that a dude who brought the A's there would actually then turn around and work for the guy that Mark Davis hates? Unless maybe he's just going to throw something out there, a little like way to goose the whole thing and make Mark happy behind the scenes. You never know. I'm just saying, you never know. Okay? But it does look like it could be that way. Just saying. All right? Okay? Any latest news from Shangtao? Hey, she's always welcome to come on and talk about it. Fine with me. I thought you were from Oakland. Moved to Oakland April 8th of 1974. Still my place there. Here in Georgia for my mom. My mom is 88. I'm an only child. Mind your parents first, folks. It ain't about you. Your folks brought you into this world. You be with them. See you soon, my dude, for your next meeting. Yes, sir. Says, I think the MLB commissioner will say the A's are relocating sometime this summer, probably. Well, I think he's already said it, actually. I don't think like he's, he says, cool. Anyway, just look at some text here that are relevant to that. And Dan says, I would agree. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you. I'm trying to be. That's all I can do. This is my vintage first t-shirt back when we reviewed 11 million times. Now it's like almost 80 million. Hey, you can laugh. I know there's like billions and they've been on less than me, but somebody's goosing my views anyway. Oh, whatever. Daniel writes, Lombardo is determined to get this done, and I believe it will get done for the A's, and I hope Garcia's design gets picked. I do too. No, when the government, I'm telling you, you can say to me, well, he's a Republican governor, but then I could say, hey, Steve Sisolak was Democrat, would say the same thing. And I could say Brian Sandoval was, to me, a kind of a Republican light. Brian Sandoval is a smooth brother, man. I just have to give, I love meeting him at the Raiders sponsor party in 2019. That is a smooth man. That dude, he is a mix of Frank Sinatra and Bill Clinton. That's Brian Sandoval. He is a mix of Frank, and I hope somebody watching this can tell him, I said that he is a mix of Frank Sinatra and Bill Clinton. I mean that seriously. That is a smooth dude. Period. End of story. on the Stadium 51s. Yep. He says that's base theme. Ben Garcia special. He says, what will happen in the Coliseum when the Athletics are gone? I hope we keep them, the Coliseum, and I hope we prep it for the next great run of sports, professional sports franchises to be grown here or to move here. That's what I hope. We need to focus on the redevelopment of the Coliseum and not do it for a team, but do it to attract a team. It's a big difference. We've never done that, folks. You realize that? We've never built anything. We've never done something like that's purpose-built. In other words, hey, I'm building this to draw either an existing team or an expansion team. Do it. Do it because it makes a gigantic statement of what we can do. If we did it in ourselves, we started the process, it would signal a new Oakland for the 21st century. One that was ready to build, ready to do public-private partnerships, ready to create jobs, ready to make sure its citizens were taken care of, ready to put itself on the map around the world yet again. That's the kind of Oakland I went to school to make happen. I certainly hope it's the kind of Oakland you want to see happen too. All right? Says, once the A's move to Vegas, I think I'll be there for a lifetime. Says, I'm so excited for the A's to come to Vegas, he says. And Eric says, progressive need to get out of this mindset of always blaming billionaires. Yep. Amen. The Coliseum should be heavily renovated for the events outside of sports. Yep. Well, actually, not so much outside of sports. Think about it. There are 220 annual sports events. Do you realize we don't even have an Oakland-themed tennis tournament? Heck, Monaco has one. I mean, geez, who else has one? Disney? I mean, it's all over the place. We have the arena. We should produce more of our own events. We can do that. We produce our own events. What do they create? Jobs, sports events. We can do that. All right, folks. I'll be back at 6:30, 3:30 your time here on the Pacific. Live long and prosper. Please subscribe to Zenny62 and bookmark OaklandNewsNowblog.com and also OaklandNewsOnline.com. Thank you. Well, he says, Charlotte's building 40 million. Yeah, see? Thank you, peanut butter. I like chocolate. Thank you, Mr. Rivera. That means a lot to me, sir, coming from you. Great, sir. I appreciate you. God bless you. Thank you very much. I feel like I'm being blessed by the Pope. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'll be back. Thank you. Thank you.